Hi, welcome back. Mitch Argon with Calneva Realty. I'm going to take you through the greater Reno Tahoe real estate market for April 2025 in just a few minutes. Let's get started. Like in prior months, we'll start with median price. As you can see, we're pretty stable on the pricing. Last month, I showed you a chart for median prices in 2022, about June of 2022, and we're pretty stable, actually, with ups and downs month by month, but we're pretty much on a flat line since June of 2022. So we're almost 3 years of having very, very stable pricing. And you can see that right through here. Carson Valley is up 10% this month. Everybody else in single digits. Tahoe up 18%. That is not a trend. Tahoe with very few homes for sale each month, maybe 5 or 6 closings each month. And high-priced homes in there, you see a lot more bouncing around in these numbers. So very stable on the pricing. This is a visual look going back 2 years. You can see the current month here, last month, March, and March of 2024 and March of 2023. You'll see movement around in there, but for the most part, if I were to take this back again, like I said last month, another year, you'd see, and you drew a straight line, a trend line through each of these charts, you'd see it's pretty flat. Taking a look at homes sold, you can see a little bit of a mixed bag. You see Reno Sparks are up, Carson City is flat, and then the other markets down here, Carson Valley, which is Minden, Gardnerville, Genoa, are down. We're seeing home sales increase modestly on a year-over-year basis. Nothing very dramatic. I think last year was up 5%. That's 2024 was up 5% over 2023. In general, the volume of home sales is down. It's depressed down based on the interest rate scenario. Sellers aren't selling, they want to stay put. Buyers aren't buying in some cases because they can't afford the payments on these higher home prices with higher rates. And so home sales volume is tamped down. Month supply of inventory, you can see, is up on all markets except for Carson City here for this month of April. And we are seeing a little bit of a build. Most of this is coming from a combination of two factors, which I'll show you here in a moment. I just mentioned home sale volume is down a little bit, but inventory is starting to rise a bit, and you'll see that here in the next chart. So if you look at inventory, you can see pretty healthy gains in the bigger markets in terms of volume of sales, 45% in Reno, 73% in the Sparks. These are pretty big gains in absolute numbers and as a percentage. As you get down here into these smaller markets, you'll see some pretty good sized gains with the exception of Carson City. The numbers are much smaller. So even like in Dayton, a 54% gain is only going from 39 homes to 60 homes. Well, that's an increase of 21 homes, which is a pretty significant increase, obviously 54%, but it's a smaller market. So this inventory situation is rising. If you look at this and you go back, I'll use Reno as a bellwether, kind of a leading indicator for our region. You see currently 565, that's single family homes in the market. A year ago, 391. The year before that, 374. So a modest increase on a year-over-year basis, 2024 over 2023, and a more significant increase if you look at this chart from 2025 going back to 2024. So what that tells me is perhaps some people who have been holding on and not selling because of the interest rate lock-in effect have decided to bite the bullet and maybe put the home on the market. They don't want to wait any longer. That's probably one factor that is at play in the market at the current time. Month supply of inventory, which is really your indicator if we're in a buyer or a seller market. You can see it's been a long time since we've been in a buyer's market. A long time, maybe 12 years, 13 years. These lines back then were up in this territory and even higher. But you can see we're still in a technical seller's market territory. Carson Valley continuing to break out from the pack here, being a little more of a seller's market. The other markets pretty well clustered around down here in the 2 to just sub 2, probably on average 2 months supply of inventory. So the market dynamic is not changing. Sellers do have a little more leverage than a buyer in today's market. There's little inventory out there to choose from, although it's increasing. And that's just a factor that you've got to be mindful of if you're buying or selling, so you can best take advantage of what the market will bring for you. What I don't have in here on this chart is some of the recent events that have taken place in the last week or two. If you have not been paying attention to news, you may not be aware, but you probably are aware that there's been some significant changes in terms of tariffs that have been enacted by the current administration, the Trump administration. That increase in those tariffs is kind of doing what appears to be a pretty significant reset on the global economic environment and trade scenario. So a couple of things: the stock markets have been very, very volatile. That tends to sometimes push money into real estate. Actually, I've seen that before. The markets have been down and top of being volatile. They did pop back up today. We'll see how that holds. But there's a lot of volatility in the stock markets based on the trade tariffs and the trade deficits that are being discussed and implemented. How does that affect real estate? We've seen, because people are leaving the stock market equities and moving more into bonds, we've seen that put some downward pressure on interest rates. So the interest rates have come down. This may be momentarily, I don't know, by no action of the Fed, but the interest rates have come down from maybe 6.75% to maybe 6.4-ish% for a conventional loan. So there has been some downward pressure that will increase some short-term activity in terms of buyer activity, potentially refinance activity. But that's got to sustain for a period of time. So right now, I think everybody in the world is really in kind of a wait and see mode on that front. And it's kind of hard to anticipate what the impact may be short term or longer term on the housing market. Right now, because it's moving so fast up and down on such a short period of time, it's probably not making a big difference, although the uncertainty sometimes does affect the buying side of the equation, where sometimes people don't want to make a big purchase while there are big moves with their 401k balances and things like that. So just to comment on that as a current event. That'll about do it this month. Thank you for watching. As in every month, we have down below this video a link to the Greater Reno Tahoe Real Estate Report. There are detailed charts in there for each market that are covered in here. If you want to go down and do a little deep dive on some of those markets, feel free to do that. If you have any real estate questions or requirements and you need professional guidance, we'd love the opportunity to help you out. Many of you watching have existing relationships with our agents in our Reno office and our Minden office. Please feel free to reach out to any of our agents, or reach out down below, or send an email back if you got an email. And if you've got any questions or whatever may be on your mind, we're happy to chat with you and see how we can be of some value. Thanks for watching. Until next month, enjoy yourself. Make it a nice day.